You follow his character throughout in this film, which is weird. You root for a serial killer in this film, but you understand his motives.
Hey, I want to play a game. And the game is, I'm going to review the latest installment in this franchise.
And that movie is Saw X. This is a 10th installment of the Saw franchise. Fast X, you're not the only one that's got a 10th installment this year. We also got Saw X. This movie is directed and edited by Kevin Greutert, and this movie stars Tobin and Shawnee Smith returning. A sick and desperate John Kramer travels to Mexico for a risky and experimental medical procedure in hopes of a miracle cure for his cancer, only to discover that the entire operation is a complete scam. So yes, we have a 10th installment in this franchise. Honestly, when it comes to the Saw franchise, yes, it's pretty mixed for me. Of course, the first two Saw films I really do love. I think those movies are really good horror movies. And you know, the third, fourth, they're okay. I feel like it's very unnecessary to have more of these movies, to be honest with you, because there's just way too many Saw films, and most of the Saw films, you know, they're fun for its traps, but that's completely it. I think the first two just sticks with the story very, very well, while also having some good traps. The rest is like, you know what? Let's see how the traps are. There are some good traps, there are some terrible traps. So when I heard they're making a 10th installment in this franchise, honestly, I wasn't too excited. The trailers did not do it for me. And Kevin Greutert, who directed 6th and 7th movie, is also coming back to do this film. And honestly, 6 is in my opinion, and 7, definitely bad. 3D, the final chapter, that movie really does suck. So honestly, from this director, I was not too pumped for this movie. And I gotta say, guys, walking out of this movie, I walked out of this movie with a big surprised face, because honestly, this is actually a really good Saw movie, and I would say this is definitely one of the biggest surprises of this year. And that is thanks to the writing of Saw X, because this movie has a story that you do follow throughout. And in a way, this movie, in a way, made us understand John Kramer as a character and made us sort of root for John Kramer in a way, because this is definitely a character study of John Kramer. This is the first time we get to see John Kramer as a protagonist in this film. Yes, he's the main character of this film, and you follow his character throughout in this film, which is weird. You root for a serial killer in this film, but you understand his motives. And of course, Tobin does a fantastic job in the film. I think this is definitely the best that I've seen his performance in the Saw franchise. He does a terrific job in this film, because you definitely feel for John Kramer in this film, and you definitely feel very sympathy for John Kramer when he finds out that he is scammed by these doctors that were meant to help him with his brain cancer. So when he's basically doing all his traps, you basically sort of rooting for John Kramer to kill these scammers, because this movie does a great job of making you hate these scammers. The people that are involved in these traps in the movie, you really hate these people. They're definitely the villains of this movie, and the movie is developed very well that you don't feel sorry for these people, because what they did to John Kramer is really terrible. So when they're involved in these traps, honestly, you're just curious, like, will they make it out alive, or would they not make it out alive? You see John Kramer basically going by them one by one, and it's just really entertaining in this film. The traps in this movie is brutal. There is a lot of sick shit that happens in this film. There's one trap specifically that I almost threw up throughout the movie. So if you guys are planning to buy some beverages like popcorn and stuff and snacks, don't do it for this movie, because it will definitely make you sick in a good way. The traps are really well done. They're Saw traps, you know? It's really fun, it's really bloody, it's very gory, and it's filmed very, very well and edited very well by Kevin Greutert. I think he directed and edited this film extremely well. Also, Shawnee Smith is Amanda coming back in this film. Honestly, I think this is the best chemistry that I've seen John Kramer and Amanda in this film. I really love them two in this film. Their development in this film is really well done. There are some really good heart moments between them two. And it's really well developed. It's like this film got completely different writers from the other Saw movies, and it's like, you know what, this is how we're going to make a Saw movie, and this is how we're going to make it better. And Saw X absolutely made it better. This is definitely the best out of the Saw sequels that I've seen since Saw 2. Honestly, I would even say this is the best since the first Saw movie. I would say like this movie sort of like Prey with the Saw franchise, which really does surprise me. Because this movie is not just a fun movie, it's also a really good revenge movie. And I really do like revenge movies, so those things mashing together, it's really well developed in this film. And there are some great twists, there are some great surprises in this film. This film also has a really good end credit scene that I definitely recommend you guys to stay throughout. I would say my only problem with Saw X is that it is very noticeable that you get to see Amanda aging with Jigsaw as well, because this movie is technically a prequel to Saw 2. This takes place after the events of the first Saw movie. So of course Amanda and Jigsaw are supposed to be younger than they were right now, and it is noticeable that they really tried to do that and it didn't really work out. But it's more of a nitpicky thing because other than that, it's still fine and it's not really too distracting, but you can definitely notice that throughout the entire film. But my gosh guys, overall Saw X is definitely in my surprising movies of the year list, because this is how you do a really good Saw movie. It's a really good revenge story with a main character you definitely root for. You root for basically one of the most famous, serial killer in horror movies of all time, because you really feel for John Kramer in this film, and you hate these procedure doctors that Jigsaw is trapping because they're not good people in this film. So it makes this film much more interesting to watch. The traps are really well done, it's brutal as shit. This movie is fun with also a really cohesive story. I would say Saw X is definitely a bloody good time, and I would say this is definitely the best Saw sequel in the entire franchise, and definitely one of the better ones since the first movie. So absolutely, I'm going to give Saw X an A-. We got 2 A- in a row. We got The Crater and Saw X. Wow. I gave a lot of films an A- this year, I just noticed. So guys, that is my review for Saw X. Now let me know in the comments below what you think of this movie. Of course, if you like the movie, hate this movie, or you thought it's okay. But let me know what your favorite Saw movie is in the franchise, or what is your favorite Saw trap. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.